Okay, I want to make a short video about XSS, which is cross-site scripting, and why this is dangerous and what you should do to protect your websites from this. So I've got highlighted here, cross-site scripting is any place where a web application is taking input from a user. You're not doing any sort of cleaning, you're just taking the input from a user and then you're using that as part of your content on the web page. So I've got a page here where we're going to simulate different things. Let's say we've got a blog or a news site and we're allowing people to add comments. Now if you just let people post whatever they want, thinking, oh, they're just going to write some text and submit that, great. When you do that, you take it, you save it in your database, and then you send back content to your page, which you then display as the comments. So in this case, I'm saying, I'm not preventing the person from writing HTML. Maybe they want to add some images. Great, I'll let them add images. Let them style their content a little bit. So I'll let them put whatever they want inside of it. Then I will take back the content. So let's say it's this, for example. They're taking content like this. Now my site is simulating this. So I'm going to take this content, say I'm pasting it in here. I can put anything in here, but I'm saying that I'm going to post this to the server. So I click Add, and this is the content that's going to come back and be displayed, or I can have some content that's not seen, that when the user mouses over it, some script runs. So okay, script ran. In the background, some of these comments here, I'm taking cookies from my site and they're being sent off somewhere, and then this is the script that is now attached to this thing. Whenever I mouse over this, you can see the background is lavender. I'm doing that through the script. I'm setting the background color to lavender. I'm getting my local storage. I'm looping through the local storage. I'm grabbing absolutely everything that's there. I'm getting all of the cookies from my website, the website that the user is visiting, and then I'm submitting all of that off to some bad website. So I've actually, if I look in here, I've actually got this nefarious JSON. That is the content that came back from my own server. I let the person paste whatever they wanted. So the HTML was pasted here, was uploaded, saved to the server, and then sent back, wrapped in JSON. I've put that content onto the page. And then this saved data, this was the user just, moused over. I moused over here, and then it did it again. Now I've got this thing that's been sent off, a response came back. I was running script. I injected script into the page that ran, which grabbed all the cookies, grabbed all the local storage data, and sent it off to some other web server. So how did I do this? It's actually a very simple process. So we have our form. Here it is. There's our text area. Person clicks the button. We're going to take whatever's here and we're going to send it to the server. That's what the script on my page does. So they click the button. I'm saying I'm going to gather all the content from my form. I'm going to submit it to the web server, and then I'm pretending that I've done that part of it, and then this is the response that's going to come back. So I've posted the data to the web server. My response is coming back as JSON. Now I've hard-coded an address just to point to a static JSON file, but this could be what was coming back from my very own web server. If I wasn't doing any sort of sanitization on that data, if I wasn't looking in that data to see, hey, are they trying to inject some HTML? Are they trying to inject some script inside here? I have to check for those things on the server, or even better, in the browser before I upload it, and then again on the server before I put it into the database and before I send it back to this web page. And you don't want to just blindly take what the person put into the comment field and add that to your web page without going to the server, without doing any sort of sanitization on it either. So here we have this JSON. It's coming back. We're extracting the JSON. I'm taking whatever was inside the content property. I'm decoding that, and I'm setting it as the inner HTML for a brand new paragraph tag that I'm creating. That is what this part right here, this is that brand new paragraph. And I can have whatever HTML I want. There can be parts that the user sees, parts that the user doesn't, because I'm styling it as well. all I did was change the background color, but I could do anything I want, so I can hide bits of it. Embedded inside that was this script. So whenever the person moused over this, I was displaying a message in the console, but I didn't have to tell anybody. I didn't have to announce the fact that I'm going to do something. I could have just taken the data, fired it off to the server, and walked away. And now, every person who visits this web page, that's going to happen to them. As they move their mouse around on the page, my script runs, and I grab their data too. So I'm gathering all of this data. I'm getting all their cookies, all their local storage. I can get other things as well, all the metadata for the web page, for the person's browser, their operating system, all those things. I can gather that data, fire it off to a server, and nobody's ever going to know. Because I wouldn't, if I were the hacker, I wouldn't be writing it to the console or making an alert message appear. I'd just be looping through, grabbing the data, and firing it off to my server. And now I can inject that on every web page in your website. So every visitor who visits any page, I'm getting their data. So this is the idea behind cross-site scripting. It's injecting your code. And it's not just in text. You can also do this in images too. So here's an example where I've got, on this same page, I've got an image tag. So again, I've let the user put images in there. Refresh this page. There we go. I've got an image. Okay, fine. Not a big deal. But let's say inside the image tag where they're adding this, I added an ID. I don't need to add the ID. But inside the image tag, they're setting the source. What if the source was set to something that didn't exist? So that's now a non-existent image, which means if I added the onError handler and I set this to JavaScript, I can write a little bit of script here. There, I don't see the image because it failed to load. And there's a faint little, one of the 404 image icons there. That's because I've got the opacity set to 10%. If I set the opacity to 0, when it fails, it doesn't even appear. So it doesn't look like there's anything wrong. At first glance, you don't see that there's anything wrong. But inside the console, yeah, there was a 404 error loading that 333 image. And this, right here, I console logged out all of the document cookies for this web page. I could have just as easily done the same things I did down with the data that came back here. I could have taken all of that information, all of the local storage, all the user agent data, and I could have sent that up to my web server. So this bad web server that I'm sending all this stuff to, that would include things like the session ID. If I've got your session ID, I can then have a web page that's pretending to be you. Visit this website and do things on the website as if I were you. So, long story short, all of this to say that you want to make sure you always sanitize your data. You don't want to let the user put whatever they want into text fields or submit content that is then going to be displayed on your website. That is what cross-site scripting is. It's somebody trying to inject script into your pages that will then affect all of your users who come to that web page. All right. Any questions? Please leave them in the comments. I will put this link to the OWASP site. This is the Web Application Security, I can't think of the acronym right now, but has to do with web application security. Great organization. I'll put the link to that in the description, and I will put the code for this page right here, as well as the JSON. This is what the JSON looked like. I just had one property inside there. Here's the content that I was pasting in there. That was the span that I put in the page that then went and sent all the data off. So I'll include that. I'll include the HTML and that link as well. As always, thanks for watching.